and Biden are one and the same.
WHAS 11 Weather First.
Right now, tonight at 5 on WHAS 11 News. You know, folks, we've been spoiled with fall weather here in Kentuckiana, so you knew we were going to have a day like today. Chilly, cloudy, rain scattered around, a day for the jackets and sweaters. But the good news, we really needed that rain. It is helping after a very dry September and October. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. So what about these temperatures coming up for tonight? First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Colleen Peterson is here with a look to come. What's to come? Colleen?
It's been cloudy. We can't have it all, right? Cloudy and cold since Saturday afternoon. Really haven't seen all that sunshine too much. Here's a live view outside. Overcast clouds. When will we get that sunshine back? Well, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow afternoon. It's staying thick right now. Currently clocking in 55 degrees. Our high was 57, so we're still cooling off here over the next few hours and overnight. Here's a look at that satellite radar. We are seeing those overcast skies from Indiana all the way down to Tennessee. We are all hovering in the 50s. Hour by hour, as you head out right around 7 o'clock, maybe heading home at that time, temperatures will still be in the 50s. When we deal with clouds, temperatures doesn't really have an opportunity to move around all that much. So overnight tonight will be in the upper 40s, low 50s. Expect overcast skies. I'm looking for some sunshine. You might be as well. Tomorrow afternoon by 4 p.m. I think that's when we'll start to get some of that breaks in between those thick clouds, starting to see a little bit of that blue back in that forecast. What that means for our temperatures, when we see sunshine, we will be getting into the low 60s tomorrow, so it won't be as cold as tomorrow as what we were sitting at today. So the next chance of seeing that sunshine is tomorrow into the late afternoon. Indiana might see the clear skies before Kentucky does, right around 5, 6 o'clock. You don't have to worry about rain today. Tomorrow, Wednesday looks really nice, but our next cold front will be heading our way this upcoming Thursday. I'm going to time out more of those showers in that forecast for your week ahead coming up in just about 10 minutes.
Okay, Colleen, thank you so much. Well, tonight at 5, we begin with the developing story. Convicted killer Ricky Kelly has been released from prison. Kelly was sentenced to 10 years in prison after accepting a plea deal for manslaughter in November of 2017. 3 years prior, he was indicted on 8 counts of murder. Records show Kelly was serving his sentence in Eastern Kentucky Correctional Complex, and he was released today. Kelly was required to serve 85% of his 10-year sentence. The Kentucky Department of Correction says he served 8 years, 5 months, and 10 days. Well, our reporter, Taylor Woods, is working on this developing story tonight. She will have more coverage coming up on the night team. Her name forever changed the city of Louisville, but will it impact the race for Kentucky governor as the November election now sits 3 weeks away?
We posed the question about Breonna Taylor's impact to election experts and activists, measuring how much Breonna Taylor's death may pull Jefferson County voters to the polls in the end. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Emma Gefter explained the issue appears to have taken a back seat in both campaigns.
Well, back in the summer, Breonna Taylor's own mother joined an effort by a national social justice group to ensure her daughter's name would be prevalent in the governor's race. So far here in October, neither campaign has really keyed in on that issue. Of all the challenges facing Jefferson County, will the death of Breonna Taylor, now more than 3.5 years ago, move the needle for Louisvillians at the polls in November?
36 months in politics is a long, long time.
While that question is difficult to answer, it is apparent in this race for Kentucky governor, both incumbent Democrat Andy Beshear and Republican challenger Daniel Cameron have largely steered clear of her name.
When you go back to the Breonna Taylor issue and the protesting in downtown Louisville and around the country, that's going to bring up some open sores within the electorate. And I think both sides are very hesitant to do that.
Dr. Kurt Jefferson is the Dean of Graduate Education at Spalding University. With more than 3 decades of experience teaching political science, he speculates both campaigns are treading carefully, trying not to alienate their voter bases.
But if you start injecting this in at this point, I think it could go and have a boomerang effect in the wrong direction for the governor.
Our Doug Proffitt discussing the issue with Chanel Helm, lead organizer for Black Lives Matter Louisville.
Do you think, though, she's going to have the impact that had this election happened in 2021, 2022?
No, because that's a particular moment, and there was a particular energy that was there.
But Jefferson adds, with 3 weeks left to go, it's not impossible for Taylor's name to come back up before the race is all said and done. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Election experts tell us the economy, education, and improving public safety remain the top issues right now on most minds of Kentucky voters. Coming up tonight at 6, we will be talking about the impact of the vote right here in Jefferson County.
And tonight, Governor Randy Beshear and Attorney General Daniel Cameron are set to hit the debate stage once again. The debate will be hosted by Northern Kentucky University. Governor Beshear and Daniel Cameron are set to take questions from panelists for 1 hour. Some of the anticipated topics include jobs, abortion, and education. This is the only gubernatorial debate this election season that's happening in Northern Kentucky. It starts tonight at 7. You can find a full recap of it tonight on the WHAS 11 night team. And remember, the deadline to register to vote has already passed, but another one is coming up. October 24th is the last day to submit a request for an absentee ballot. No excuse, early voting begins on November 2nd, and the general election is coming up quick, folks. That is Tuesday, November 7th.
Happening right now, demolition has started on that home in Highview filled with dangerous chemicals. It's been long awaited, and now the EPA has started the removal process along with a removal company hired out of central Kentucky. Instead of a controlled burn, the Nicholasville, Kentucky company called CMC Environmental Services is going to be removing the walls and roof of the house before they remove the chemicals piece by piece. As hazardous materials are removed, they're going to be then put into a steel tank in the backyard to be processed and disposed of off-site. The hazardous home was discovered in late July, and the owner remains in jail. The Louisville Metro Department of Corrections and the Criminal Justice Commission got a big gift to help train their staff members on crisis and intervention responses. A $250,000 grant will be distributed through September of 2026. The training will include de-escalation skills, disability awareness, crisis response, and behavioral health conditions. The Bounce Coalition and the Bureau of Justice Assistance will assist LMDC, that's the Corrections Department, with creating the training.
Ford's executive chair Bill Ford spoke on the record for the very first time since UAW employees went on strike a month ago. He said despite Ford offering UAW a record contract, the union shut down the Kentucky truck plant, which he says will cripple the industry and local communities in the long term. Ford said if the strike continues for much longer, both the automakers and the workers will be the ones losing.
This should not be Ford versus the UAW. It should be Ford and the UAW versus Toyota, Honda, Tesla, and all the Chinese companies that want to enter our home market. Toyota, Honda, Tesla, and the others are loving this strike because they know the longer it goes on, the better it is for them. They will win, and all of us will lose.
Ford said American automakers are critical to the national security, and we cannot take that for granted. He's now urging everyone in these talks to come together and end the strike. Well, this week we are anticipating layoffs at 6 Ford facilities in Ohio, Michigan, and Illinois. Ford says these layoffs are a direct result of strikes at the Chicago assembly plant and the Kentucky truck plant. The targeted strike at the truck plant started last Wednesday when more than 8,000 workers walked off the job. The company says with the truck plant on strike, other plants around the country will have to cut production of parts that would have gone to KTP, and that is creating uncertainty at the Louisville assembly plant, currently not part of the strike right now. Union leaders say because parts from KTP head to the Louisville assembly plant, there could be layoffs there once they run out of parts.
In other news tonight, Kentucky State Police looking for this robbery suspect from Henry County, Kentucky. Take a good look. Police say the robbery happened just before 11 a.m. on Saturday morning at the United Citizens Bank and Trust in Newcastle. The suspect is described as a white man with a heavy build. Police believe he's driving a black SUV with red or orange stripes. If you can help police, Kentucky State Police Post number 5, the number of your screen is 502-532-6363.
And police are investigating a shooting outside of a popular bar in St. Matthews. It happened at the Fox Den on Frankfort Avenue. That's close to that split with Lexington Road. The bar owner there, Jared Matthews, says one of his security guards was the one who fired the deadly shot. Police say the shooting happened just before 3 Sunday morning, right near the Fox Den's back parking lot. The owner says the man had been aggressive and involved in a domestic dispute inside the bar before security kicked him out. Well, as he threatened those inside the bar, the owner says the man grabbed a pistol from his car.
The guy approached with his pistol and he went in. Our security and defense had to shoot him.
Jared Matthews says his restaurant staff is fully cooperating with the LMPD homicide investigation. LMPD says everyone's accounted for in this shooting and there is no threat to the public. Israel is ramping up its retaliatory attacks on Gaza City, where a growing number of Palestinians are trying to get to safety.
And trucks and ambulances are now stationed at Egypt's border with Gaza, waiting for the Rafah crossing to open. Many people are also gathering on the Gaza side, hoping to be among the passport holders allowed out of the war zone to safety. But Egypt is refusing to open its border unless Israel allows food, water, and fuel to flow back into Gaza. Egypt has informed the United States that there are acute security threats near the crossing, which currently prevent U.S. officials and others from aiding Americans inside Gaza. Meantime, here in the United States, threats targeting the Jewish and Muslim communities have increased in the week since the Israel-Hamas war began.
The Department of Justice is opening a hate crime investigation following the deadly attack of a 6-year-old Muslim boy and his mother. Authorities now believe it was tied to their faith. Today, that innocent boy was laid to rest.
Today, a funeral was held in Illinois for a 6-year-old Palestinian American child who police allege was killed because of his religion. Investigators claim the boy was stabbed to death by his landlord, 71-year-old Joseph Zuba, who they also accuse of attacking and seriously injuring the boy's mother in their Plainfield, Illinois apartment. Authorities allege the landlord stabbed them because of their Muslim faith. The young boy reportedly stabbed 26 times.
By the time she came out, he had located and murdered her child, 6-year-old Wadia, by stabbing. This all happened in seconds.
The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, a Muslim civil rights and advocacy group, condemned the brutal attacks. The Justice Department opening a hate crime investigation.
And he paid the price for the atmosphere of hate and otherization and dehumanization that, frankly, I think we are seeing here in the United States.
Since the Israel-Hamas war broke out, the FBI has been monitoring threats directly related to the conflict. This as divided protesters hold rallies across the U.S. supporting Israel and the Palestinians. From pro-Palestine rallies in Philadelphia to pro-Israel rallies like this one in New Jersey.
When 9/11 happened, we all together protested together and we realized it was Islamic terror, and Islamic terror needs to be uprooted and destroyed.
Today, supporters of Jewish Voice for Peace demanding President Biden call for a ceasefire in Gaza, asking to protect innocent Palestinians. The FBI and police across the country remain on high alert for potential violence driven by anti-Semitic or Islamophobic sentiments. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The landlord, 71-year-old Joseph Zuba, has been charged with murder and hate crimes.